Just waiting to see if I come online here. These Muslims are using terrorist tactics.
Are using terrorists.
They're attacking me. They woke me up, sending someone here to ring the bell. And now they're attacking, molesting my body. In Arabia, they're using ones who have kidnapped children and made them child jockeys. What can we expect from them? So you can't say anything to such people, stubborn people, who won't listen. And they're very wealthy. And they get away with terrorist activities using force and, harming people. They've come on my body telepathy, through metaphysically, attacking me. This is what the prophet pimp has taught them to do. Prostitute, keep mistresses, Anyone who says anything against Prophet Muhammad, how to curb this terrorism in Pakistan and Arabia in the name of Islam, killing people, harassing people with their dirhams and their rupees and all. There are terrorists, sons of terrorists, followers of terrorists, child molesters, child kidnappers. How to stop them from these terrorist activities and tactics used against ex-Muslims. Anyone who says anything against Prophet Muhammad. What kind of people are they? They don't listen to anyone. With their money and power, these Muslim terrorists in Arabia, this Quran should be banned. They're molesting me. I know they're doing this in the United Arab Emirates. These crazy, wicked people, psychos. You are a psycho and you know it. Cruel, crazy people. In the name of Islam, respect Islam, respect our Prophet. They're getting me all worked up and angry and all this. Sons of pimps. Terrorists. Stop molesting me. They have no fear of God. Money, money, money. All they are after. These crazy psycho Arabs, terrorists, Muslims. You are a terrorist, follower of a terrorist. You have spread terrorism in Pakistan against Shias. In Bahrain, they sent their troops to kill the Shias. how to stop these Muslim terrorists. What kind of people are they? Following a terrorist prophet. Pak, Arabia, UAE, Qatar, God knows, Bahrain, Kuwait. They're not going to stop their cruelty or terrorism. God has given them the license to kill anyone in the name of Islam. Their God can say anything to the idol worshippers. Using Jewish religion to say that they broke the Sabbath, so we turned them into apes and pigs. Stop their terrorism. Lying tactics. Terrorism tactics. Someone who speaks on justice. I was saying about the Quran, full-breasted women. I don't know what tactics what other tactics they're using. They want to say that this is, I think the Quran, God knows what tactics they're using. Even the other soft ones, like this is Syriac and all this. So what do you say about this then? If you want to get Muhammad out, what do you say? What Syriac language is this? They haven't covered every ayat. Allowing prostitution of slave girls is allowed. Prostitution of slave girls is allowed in Islam. Surah Nur. Your breasted, full-breasted woman you will get in paradise. You lustful people. Your God was crazy or what? And in Sunni Islam hadith says, Aisha is saying, what feeding to make the man mahram on you. My goodness. Breastfeeding. What kind of sick religion is this if the man is not? How old would it be? How old would that man be? Can you believe this? Sick people, really. A sick prophet. Aisha was a victim of this really crazy psycho prophet. And the prophet is telling Aisha, I do believe in this. Breastfeeding. And then they go do terrorism on people, applying tactics like that. Who in their right mind would believe in such a thing? Are you people out of your mind? You would endorse this Islam on people? I think, and many other tactics they could be using, like, this is a Syriac. I don't know what is in there. They are very satanic people. Their minds are very satanic. And they're slow. At least tell us about what Syriac language will save Islam from. Do not force your maids to prostitution if they wish to. What kind of. And there's a Shia also website. They said nothing is wrong with this. They can't see. And they rape women, married women, if they come as captives in your hands, Arabs' hands, Muslim. It is a sunnah of Prophet Muhammad to get married. They won't allow you to stay as a proud widow like Zainab bin Josh was. They'll come after your life. Like, get married. Why aren't you married? What is wrong in being single? Terrorists, sons of terrorists, followers of terrorists. What kind of people are these Muslims? Look at this. The Quran they don't know, and the way they come here and apply their cunning tactics at times terrorist tactics. This is what their God has told them to do. I wish I was in Israel. No Muslim there, Pakistani or Arab, applying terror tactics. You can even rape the woman, molest her, breastfeed on her. Breastfeed a non-mahram adult. This is what Prophet Muhammad wanted. The hadiths must be true. This is a sick prophet. These Arabs, they don't listen. They don't want to cooperate. Maybe hypocritically, they're using taqiyya, showing the West, that we are. Maybe it's all hypocricy, taqiyya. Pakistani terrorism. Breeding ground. Pakistan has been a breeding ground, and Arabs have gone there and trained there. Osama bin Laden was trained there. These are crazy people, wicked people. They lie through their teeth themselves and tell others that you are lying through your teeth. How can I believe who you are? I don't remember the driver's name. Could be a relative of this Gilgati. My personal case. Child molesters, assaulters. You are allowed in Islam to assault, break the door and come in and get this person and kill the person. Whoever says anything against this mad, possessed, satanic prophet. Heights of hypocrisy. This prophet. Breastfeeding. This is what the prophet has done. Breastfeeding of a Naman. Oh my goodness. This is, they're using someone who's not well and sending people. Anyways, the Muslims of India. Terrorist activities. Dawood Ibrahim. Muhammad has woman breastfeed a grown man. Aisha then orders her nieces. Oh my God, what corruption. Ugh. Of course it's true. Prophet Muhammad, it's not surprising, ordered her niece. Look, Sunni sources. O wives of the Prophet, why blame it on that poor little girl you married at the age of 50? No one could say no to the Prophet. Allah has given him authority over anyone. He can overpower, he can do any zulm he likes. Purported, no, it's a true hadith actually. Yes. These liars, wicked liars, breastfeeding hadith of a Namaram. Muhammad has woman breastfeed a grown man. These Muslims would do anything for shaitan. God is shaitan. This has happened. Now they're thinking, what some iftar department, how should the hadith concerning the breastfeeding of adult be replied to? Sunni. Aisha reported that Sahla bin Suhail came to Allah's apostle and said, Messenger of Allah, I see on the face of Abu Hudayfa signs of disgust on entering of Salim, who is an ally, into our house. Whereupon Allah's apostle said, Suckle him. She said, How can I suckle him, as he is a grown up man? Allah's messenger smiled and said, I already know that he is a young man. Amr has made this addition in his narration that he participated in the Battle of Badr, and in the narration of Ibn Umar, the words are, Allah's messenger laughed. Laughing is a... Oh my God. The book of suckling, breastfeeding, the door to breastfeeding an adult. My goodness. Oh my God, this is sick. This is what the Messenger of Allah is about. Also the sick thing. Oh my God, Messenger of Allah. Aisha reported that Sahla bint Suhail came to Allah's apostle and said, Messenger of Allah, I see on the face of Abu Hudayfa signs of disgust on entering of Salim, who is an ally, into our house. Whereupon Allah's apostle said, Suckle him. She said, How can I suckle him, as he is a grown up man? Allah's messenger smiled. Very, Sunnis were smiling, cheerful, very exalted, of exalted character. Cheerful, smiling. And said, I already know that he is a young man. Amr has made this addition in his narration that he participated in the Battle of Badr. And in the narration of Ibn Umar, Allah's messenger laughed. Madman. Madness, wicked. What kind of a thing is this? My God. What a sick. Please stop, someone intervene. I mean, we can't stop. God. I'm just they're attacking my body so badly. Let me see some other ridiculous ayat. No. He's a rapist. Lying dead. Trunks of uprooted palm trees, so that you would have seen his people lying dead. He's a sadist. Do you see any of them? So, life here is not forever. Each disobeying the Lord's messenger, so he seized them with a crushing grip. Indeed, when the flood water had overflowed, we carried you in the flood, so that you may make this a reminder. Trumpet will be blown with one blast. Musical instruments, according to Shias, are not allowed. But if you keep a musical instrument in your house, no angel will come there. But someone is blowing the trumpet. We don't know who is blowing the trumpet. Ridiculous, really. Crushed with one blow. And the earth, like this trumpet, I mean, I can understand Sri Krishna, the conch also during the war. Like, was the world created with a trumpet blown? This is ridiculous, ludicrous. And the earth and the mountains will be lifted up and crushed with one blow. Earth will be lifted up. What? And the earth and the mountains will be lifted up and crushed. What in this? What? Lifted up and crushed. Oh my God. The sky will then be so torn that it will be frail. What kind of a sky is this? And will split the heaven, so it is on that day frail. Heaven is going to split, and the heaven will be still. Oh my God. What is this? Reading this nonsense, definitely you will not have your reason intact. With the angels on its sides. You will then be presented before him, and your secrets with none of your secrets will hid. Okay, this is. As for those given their records in their right hand, they will cry happily. Here, everyone read my record. I surely knew I would face my reckoning. They will be in a life of bliss. Eat and drink joyfully. My wealth has not benefited me. Of course not. My authority has been stripped from me. It will be said, seize and shackle them, then burn them in hell, then tie them up. Oh my goodness. Burn them in hell? Okay, you've already what? Sadist? This is height of sadism. Then tie them. If you give this to children, this is too violent. A Quran verse, a surah, verses. Then tie them up with chains, 70 arms long, for they never had faith in Allah the Greatest. What kind of Allah needs this really? They never had faith in Allah the Greatest. What nonsense is this? What kind of Allah is this? He will be torturing you because you didn't have so much torture. Okay, I think the Arabs have learned. Okay, so we can have maybe the Arabs when they get angry and they want to torture someone. You know the heights of torture in jail happen. My goodness. What kind of people are they? Followers of this, can you believe this? For they never had faith in Allah, the Most Great, Azim, nor encouraged the feeding of the poor. So this day they will have no close friend here, nor any food except oozing pus. My goodness. Which none will eat except my God. Now God will do this because someone didn't feed the poor and because someone didn't believe in him because he's great. This is the punishment. Please stop this Quran from spreading. Thank God I realized I mean, God, if I had a child, I would never. This is too intense. Just for not feeding poor people, you don't threaten people like this about and not believing in the great God. This is not the way. Terrorism, sons of terrorists. Torturous, sadistic Allah. Sons of Satan. Now I do swear by whatever you see, and whatever you cannot see. Indeed, this Quran is the recitation of a noble messenger. Surely the word. It is not the prose of a poet as you claim, yet you hardly have any faith. Nor is it the mumbling of a fortune teller, yet you are hardly mindful. It is a revelation from the Lord of the worlds. Had the messenger made up something in our name, we would have certainly seized him by his right hand, then severed his aorta. 47. And none of you could have shielded him. Now look at this. Are you kidding me? What is this? Indeed, this Quran is a reminder to those mindful of Allah. Meaning the doctors could not have come, no matter what treatment you give him. I mean, you can, reading these ayahs, it's a psycho in the making. Muslims would say they have all these ideas and how strict Allah, how crazy this is. They could have ideas of punishing another who says anything about against these nonsensical, sadistic terrorism. And we certainly know that some of you will persist in denial like the Muslims do. They can't see a single contradiction in the Quran ayats, between Quran ayats. And they go killing. This one blasphemed, kill, death penalty. Harm, harass her. Exasperate her. Muslims are persistent in denial. Most. And it will surely be a source of regret for the disbelievers. And indeed, this is the absolute truth. So glorify the name of your Lord the Greatest. What is his iota? And there's a hadith in the Sunni sources. Aisha, my iota. These terrorists, they're provoking me to really, like, I have to abuse back. I don't want to abuse back. They can abuse me. But you know, they've got my body here. These Arabs are endorsing it. They've enforced, and they wouldn't even tell me something about my case or anything. They perhaps don't even know what. And they're pushing me like, you know, men would come. Oh, I know, they know how to make a person weak, right? A woman really weak, weaken her defenses and morale. God, they've molested me enough. If there's a true God, why don't you molest their daughters? How they're molesting me. Why don't you, God? Where are you? Why don't you make their daughters go schizophrenic, whoever calls me, and is enforcing behind my back? Because you don't want anyone, because they have the money, and of course, in Abu Dhabi, you know what has happened? Uh, a lady suffering from schizophrenia. A woman with schizophrenia gets life back on track thanks to Abu Dhabi doctors. Woman with schizophrenia, I think, and her family, Al Ain. Look at this. No one will harass her because she's a Muslim, Emirati. They will put, like Nangalal said, you know, they'll make you upside down. They will hang you naked, upside down. If you touch an Emirati woman, if you harass a Muslim Emirati woman, oh, and she has the resources. A pioneering group is tackling the stigma of mental health issues in the UAE to ensure that nobody needs suffer in silence. The group with Hope UAE is using power of social media to encourage people to open up about the dark troubles of their lives in the hope of building brighter futures. Using the hashtag My Mind Matters, dozens of people have taken to social media. These are Muslims. Tell, media to tell of their struggles with mental illness. Pakistani comes here and calls me schizophrenic. UAE ignores. You see, this is what they're taught, to be merciful to Muslims, believers, and harsh with ex-Muslims. I mean, there's the death penalty. Doesn't matter you have mental problems or anything. The group with Hope UAE is using the power of social media to encourage people to open up about the dark troubles of their lives in the hope of building brighter futures. Using the hashtag My Mind Matters, dozens of people have taken to social media to tell of their struggles with mental illness, a subject still considered taboo by many in the UAE. Many have happily taken up the baton of hope passed on by the group to discuss their own stories of sexual abuse and harassment in the hope others will be encouraged to speak up. The group was started less than 3 years ago by a group of 5 Emirati women determined to help others, no matter what some people thought. Some even felt the need to hide their volunteering trips to psychiatric hospitals from their families. Such were the misconceptions about mental health issues, but they remained faithful to the cause. The organization has held talks and workshops at hospitals and hosted major exhibitions highlighting their efforts in Dubai. At our last event, everyone was shocked that people were coming forward to talk about sexual harassment, abuse, bullying, and things that have been going on for years. In the UAE, but no one was talking about it. Reem Al Ali, vice chairman and one of the founding members of With Hope UAE, told the National. It all started in 2015 after a philanthropic trip with the Salama bint Hamdan Al Nayan Foundation, she said. After the trip, we formed a book club, and one of the books chosen was How to Change the World, which discusses people who have changed the course of history. One of the stories was about a mother who had a child with mental health challenges. The story touched the heart of one of the members, Fatima Musa, and she started to question and wonder about mental health in the UAE. Miss Al Musa approached several psychiatric hospitals in the UAE seeking answers and offering to volunteer. One hospital responded, and the group became the first to be allowed to volunteer there. When she started her journey, she got help from another member who was an artist, and so they began doing art therapy for patients and gradually went every week. They did it for a few months and then realized that they needed help, she said. They sent an invitation to all of their friends, and that day only 5 people ended up coming to, and it is the same 5 that formed the only non-government organization advocating mental health in the UAE, she said. The group of 5 began going every Saturday for 2 hours to give workshops that range from art therapy to field trips for patients. We did this for an entire year, and we noticed that all the patients really wanted was people to talk to. It really makes you think, why is there this big stigma? Why are they not accepted by society? She said. In the beginning, even telling family that I was volunteering at a psychiatric hospital was not only difficult for me, but for the other members as well. Our families didn't accept it, and some of us even had to lie in the beginning about where we were going. After a year of volunteering, and because last year was the UAE's year of giving, they decided that it was time for them to go on social media and start asking people to volunteer, coming up with the name With Hope. The group's signature is a floating red balloon. With Hope UAE. I never read this before, actually. I read only about a lady who had schizophrenia, and the doctors in Abu Dhabi helped, and her family members helped. It all started when my mother and father decided to relocate us to a small village far away from people, shops, and active living. At the time, it seemed a better choice for us. I hardly saw my parents or family as a child. In fact, my mother was always busy working. She had 2 jobs, day and night, whilst my father, well, he was always somewhere else. I have 2 younger sisters whom I looked after and cared for. I cooked and cleaned the house most days, but it proved to be a real challenge for me emotionally. Being a child from our town brought even more battles for me. I was bullied at school by boys and girls older than me. I would be cornered in the corridors, called names in front of everyone, and even beaten at times. It was hard enough trying to keep the family together at home, to then going to school and being bullied. I had days when I felt suicidal and put myself through self-harm. To add to my emotional battles, my parents ended up going through a horrible breakup. A few years later, violence became a regular daily occurrence between my mother and father. If it wasn't my father hitting my mother, it would end up me being hit instead. Uh, if it, to cope, I took to art and running as an outlet for emotional de-stressing. I would paint and draw in my free time. So it's a bit hard to read. In just a moment, please. I just want to throw something in the dustbin. Oh, God. To cope, I took art, running as an outlet for emotional de-stressing. I would paint and draw in my free time. Even during school, I would stay in the art room as it was the only place I felt safe from the bullies and could feel free to express my feelings, whether through artwork or anything, just to keep my mind busy. Today I'm very lucky I found my solace in my spirituality. I still have days when I worry, feel stressed and feel lonely, but I understand that such feelings are normal. With that in mind, I heartfully encourage everyone to speak up in challenging times and to seek help. Help can be as simple as finding someone to talk to, and that alone has the power to brighten you up moving forward. I am a certified happiness coach, motivational speaker, writer, researcher, human resource strategist with a master's degree in human resource management. My name is Naila and hashtag my mind matters. Cancer has the red ribbon, so we wanted something symbolic to mental health. The red balloon, we felt, symbolizes hope, and hope is essential to give people the motivation to keep moving forward despite the adversity going on with mental health and the stigma around it. Today there are 10 members, Emirati and non-Emirati. We are a group of people with no medical background who are passionate about the cause. Some of us suffer from mental health problems, and we have been through the challenges and felt that there is a niche that hasn't been tapped into. For sure, yes. What we envision is a society that supports and accepts people going through mental health problems. Miss Al Ali has gone through her own personal battles with depression and anxiety. Depression for me started when I was in university, and recently, anxiety. I did seek help because it was affecting my health, but back then I didn't tell anyone. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 people in the world will be affected by mental or neurological disorders at some time in their lives. The UAE lacks a lot in mental health, but we are starting a little with the policies, Miss Al Ali said. In June, Dubai police announced that people who attempt suicide should be seen as victims and not criminals. Islamic law changes. So that's something. Those who attempt to take their own lives will be given psychological support to help tackle the causes of their issues, while a hotline will be set up dedicated to those suffering with mental health problems. Ouch, my mouth. Sorry, excuse me. I think I have cancer. I'm not sure. Now, the policy marks a sweeping change from current UAE law in which a person who attempts to end his or her life is punished. The policy marks a sweeping change. Thank God, sweeping change from current UAE law in which a person who attempts to end his or her life, is punished by a prison term of up to 6 months or a fine of up to 5,000 dirhams or both. Change takes time, and it will take persistent and passionate people to bring about this change. It won't happen overnight. Miss Ali said, the group will focus on the current hashtag My Mind Matters campaign and has more workshops in the pipeline. For us, it is very important to have a deep impact, so it is quality over quantity. I'd rather be able to affect 5 people in a deep way rather than hundreds of people in a superficial way. Very true. For more information on the group, you can contact email. Oh my God, so the Islamic law has changed because they used to consider suicide a crime. No Molvi come, no decent burial. They would just walk away. Haram. This is a great, brave ladies. I mean, I have no words, but salutations. So I think I can go to the doctor. Sorry, I have to take a break.